Today, I'd like to spend a little time talking about sources for a speech. This is an important conversation to have, especially in the academic setting, because your grade in an English class, a speech class, a government class, even a business class can have drastic consequences if you don't choose how to do research ethically and academically. Now, we all will do research for ourselves. We might want to learn how to do a certain technique with makeup or get past a certain level in a video game, or how to enhance our swing in tennis, or how to do something in a craft that we have not learned to do yet. And we'll pull up a YouTube video and learn how to do it. And while there's nothing wrong with learning from videos that we watch online, when we're talking about an academic class in a college, we have very different standards for what is a source. So today I want to talk about those standards and how you can find academically credible sources. So a source, for definition for our purposes, is information that you get outside of your own knowledge and experience. When I was in graduate school, one of my favorite professors, her name was Dr. Linda Putnam, and she was a leading researcher in the field of organizational communication, of which I was getting my master's degree in. And she would publish books and she would publish articles, and she was probably one of the most skilled and most experienced researchers there were. And even when she would publish books and even when she was publishing articles, she still had dozens and dozens and dozens of sources to support what she was having to say. She's a person who has 30, 40 years of experience in that field and is acknowledged as one of the greatest. And still, she said, I understand the importance of going outside of my own understanding to support my ideas. And that's what a source does. Now, you can find sources in many different places. The quality of the sources can vary depending on what type of sources you're looking for. For an academic or a college class, we're not looking for a bunch of websites that just helped you easily find the information you were looking for. While that's easy, that's not always the best way of finding information. So if you're going to use a website, limit the amount of websites you use. There's other sources besides websites that can be helpful to you that you can find on the internet. When using a website, stick with .org, .gov, .mil websites. Outside of websites, you can use the CTC library databases. If you've not used that before, there's a link that you'll see that's close to this video that will take you to the CTC homepage for the library. When you get to that library homepage, you'll be able to log in and begin your search. You've done the logging in part through the speech analysis that you've done in class. So you've got the fundamentals down. Now you just have to learn how to cite and find those citations. So a good database to use is the Academic Search Complete. That's kind of the catch-all database for researching. Click on Academic Search Complete, and then before you type in anything to search, make sure you click the dialog box down the screen a little bit on the left that says Full Text. Otherwise, you're going to get frustrated quickly. So make sure to click the Full Text dialog box and then begin your search. Maybe I'm going to give a speech on emotional intelligence in the workplace. Or maybe I'm going to give a speech on relational attachment theory. So I can type any of those search terms into that database and begin to find many different articles, including journals, including magazines and books that can help supplement or add to my speech. I highly recommend using the CTC online databases. Your librarian at your school could also help you find some information for your speeches. You should avoid blogs, Wikipedia, any type of ehow.com or quick and easy access to information. YouTube videos, we're not going to count as speeches or as sources for these speeches. So think credible. Don't think easy to find. Think what genuinely would be good information. When you find sources that you would like to use in your speech, the next thing you need to do is figure out how to use them in your speeches. So maybe you found an interesting statistic that you want to add into your speech. So for your preparation outline, your speech outline, you're going to put that information, that statistic, into the body of the speech. Maybe it is a supporting point A or a supporting point B, and you write it out just like you would like to say it. According to the 2019 Pew Research Survey, 2,000 people experience flat tires on the roadway this year. I completely made that up, but you can see how I would write it just like I wanted to say it. So once you put it in your speech preparation outline, next you're going to put it in your bibliography. We're going to use MLA Citation for your bibliography this semester. If you're unfamiliar with MLA Citation, there's some information for you in the Speeches tab if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it will give you helpful information about citing in MLA format. And lastly, so you've got it in your preparation outline template, you have it, the source information in your bibliography, and lastly, you're going to put it in your speaking notes. This information is important to go in your speaking notes because you get credit for having sources in your speech when you say them out loud. So I need to hear you give credit to your sources. They need to be verbally stated. According to the Killeen Daily Herald article by John Brown in March of 2019, and I quote, end quote. So I need to be able to hear who said it, where it came from, and the date. That needs to be done at least 3 times for the informative speech and 3 times for the persuasive speech. I want to reiterate, you get credit for sources when you say them out loud while speaking. You've got some good examples of how to do that as you're watching videos for your speech analysis. So the last thing I want to say is that there's often the trap that if we run out of time to prepare adequately, that we can just copy and paste information that we find on a website or in a document directly into our speech outline, preparation outline. And I want to caution you against that because that's considered plagiarism. In Blackboard, on the course menu, toward the bottom, you'll see the Scholastic Honesty Statement. Please read that because whether you read it or not, you're being held accountable for ethical research. So make sure that you are conducting ethical research. There's also a chapter in your book that discusses how to do this. So make sure that you are clearly understanding the guidelines. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message as you're researching. If you have a question on a specific source or how you put those sources in your speech, I would love to help you with that. I look forward to hearing more from you and listening to more of your speeches. Good luck as you continue working in the class.